Much for tuning into this conversation with Dynamatic Technologies. The case for a chat. The idea is to discuss the contours of the contract with Airbus. Some details around the kind of products, maybe the value, maybe the tenor, maybe the nature of the contract, potential and scope for future growth, not just here but otherwise as well, pricing and impact on top line, and other things. And to talk about that, Udayant Malhoutra, MD and CEO, joins in right now. Udayant, great having you. Thanks for taking the time out. And am I not being too rushed if I congratulate you on this deal?
No, thank you very much. It's well deserved. The team at Dynamatic and at Airbus worked very with great vigor to get this done, and we're really happy.
Okay. Now I understand you are a couple of days away from your results, so you won't be at a liberty to talk too many numbers, and I completely understand that. So I wouldn't dwell too much on the quarter gone by. Can we dwell a bit more upon the nature of this signing that you've done with Airbus?
Yes. Again, I'll be cautious to ensure that we're compliant. If you look at it, we have taken the last decade to build, to layer and build a world-class aerospace business on top of what was originally a automotive hydraulic business, a very good high-end engineering business. But to build a global business for aviation and aeronautics requires a different thinking and a lot of qualifications and a lot of patience. What is interesting is we are now a global tier one manufacturer to Bell Helicopter, Boeing, and Airbus. Airbus was our first global client. We are now a global sole supplier for the flap track beam assemblies that go on to all their 318s, A319s, A320s, A321s, and A330s. It's a significant class one flight critical product. Now, in all our business, what we've done is we've created a unique vertically integrated structure over the years where we make detailed parts, we do the engineering, we design the tooling, and then we do the assembly of what goes as a piece of the aircraft. It's a big piece of the aircraft, not just, we don't make little parts just like that and sell them. We make stuff up to the size of a room, and that's an entire helicopter fuselage, for example.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, over the last 2-3 years, there's been post-COVID a lot of disruption in the global supply chain. And our customers, particularly Airbus, have had a very good performance from all Indian suppliers. India was one of the best performing regions for the aviation world with very consistent quality and delivery.
So you're saying not just you, but others as well?
The whole ecosystem of Indian suppliers has done tremendously well, not just for Airbus, but for Airbus, for Boeing, and for all other customers.
Okay.
So India is in focus, and India is seen as a safe harbor for future procurement. That's the sense we get, explicitly and implicitly. Now, our customers, in this case, Airbus, came to us. They have various challenges in their global supply chain, and they are going deeper into manufacturing and procurement out of India. They have their global innovation center in Bangalore. They have a huge amount of engineering based in India at Bangalore. And companies like us are a tier one, and they have an ecosystem of other suppliers. So with this, they've gone deeper, not just by buying assemblies, but going into our own manufacturing and buying detailed parts as well. Now, the detailed parts are small, but they're very sophisticated.
Sure.
And just to give you an idea, we when we talk about 18,000 parts for all varieties of Airbus aircraft, it's actually a very significant statement of intent by Airbus to procure from India.
Got it. Now, because I have a time constraint right now, Udayant, and we'll do a longer format conversation a bit later on because it sounds very interesting. But I want to get the nuts and bolts of this thing. I heard you say that for the parts that you're supplying currently, you're the sole supplier globally?
Yes.
to Airbus.
So,
Okay.
for example, under the wing, you have the flap rack beam assemblies that move the flaps up and down. It's a very highly technical product. So, for all the aircraft I named, roughly 800 Airbus aircraft every year, we are the sole supplier.
Okay. And on back of that, Airbus has done a new, or not on back of that, but otherwise also, but Airbus has now entered into a new contract with you.
Yes, indeed. To
Okay.
make smaller detailed parts, which earlier were produced by us for assemblies. Now they're directly buying parts as well for their assemblies.
Okay. What is the quantum of annual business that you get from Airbus, let's say until FY23, if you will?
So one of the things we haven't done is we haven't broken it up, but roughly our aerospace business is um, about 500 crores a year, and it's almost entirely exported.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is in the larger scheme of our balance sheet, not very material, but in terms of intent and in terms of aerospace, it's very significant because it is a 10-year deal. It's again not a very big number, but it's just the beginning. It's roughly $70 million, so it's not small either, and it opens the door to completely bigger things. Uh, Especially, as I said, it just shows the intention of the customer to go deep into manufacturing procurement from India. And good supply.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you reckon am I understanding this, that you reckon that you will be able to mine Airbus for more work because of what has just happened, because they themselves want to do
Of course,
this?
of course. I think they are seeing India as a massive source of good quality products, but also of resources, of human beings, of minds, of engineering, all kinds of stuff.
So good to hear that, and kudos to your team and other teams which have done this and are doing this consistently as well. So Udayant, I mean, $70 million, give or take, the number that you said, even if it's spread over 10 years, on an annualized basis, if I just do a simple division of by 10, it is not an immaterial addition to your overall top line per se. I mean, yes, it's small relative to what you have, but when I look at the last 8-9 years when you have been consolidating your business, and it hasn't, while your margins have expanded but the top line hasn't, this now brings in even more ammo to your top line addition goals, I presume.
See, you're actually very insightful. So we have actually focused on wave one for the last. Aerospace doesn't happen quarterly or daily or weekly or monthly. You know that it's program by program. I think what we've very successfully done is create a wave one within the company where we've established ourselves as a global best of breed supplier. So, for example, during the current year, we are the best supplier of the year for Boeing. All right. 2 years ago, we won Airbus's Global Sustainability Award, which is the best award you can get worldwide from a great company like Airbus. And then we have been consistently Bell Helicopter's best supplier in the world. So you have very few companies. In fact, no company, or perhaps in the world, that is best of the breed for all the major players. You can be for one, but to be for all. And I think we've done that at a relatively small global scale. And that was our focus, to build excellence and then to build growth rather than try and become big and then become good. And I think that is where we are now going to go into the wave two, which is much bigger. And we've actually, over the last 18 months, invested in a headcount to grow ourselves bigger. We've actually built bigger shoulders for much bigger business.
How much did it go up by? Sorry.
So, look, if you look at us, we took this business in a decade, we went from 5 crores to 500 crores, right? But that was because of a decade and some, right? It was because of some big, 3, 4 big contracts that we then focused on delivering and excelling at. Now you have those. What we are doing now is we have a marketplace that is larger and more visible to us, with customers looking at us with greater interest and a much better reputation. Not just some Indian supplier who can do good stuff at a lower price, but best of breed worldwide. And the advantage we have now is to take on even bigger programs that could perhaps grow us multifold over the next 5-8 years, multifold. And I'm not talking about incremental growth. So uh, to do that, we've also created a resource base that is perhaps bigger than the current business or the past business has, in anticipation of the growth we're having.
Got it.
So what you begin to see, and I'm saying, I'm not, again, like you said, I'm not going to say something that's out of sync with our compliance. Over the next 18 months or so, we will see all this very nicely fructify, where the bigger orders will absorb the costs we built for those bigger orders, which was absorbed by a much smaller customer base earlier.
Got
So
it.
the profits will be much better than you currently see.
I'm guessing the margins also become better because operating leverage of those employees come into play.
The operating leverage becomes much better.
Got it. Udayant, one final question. Believe you me, this is very exciting to know, and I would love to do a slightly longer conversation. If you are in Mumbai, please come down to our studios. Otherwise, I'll come down to Bangalore and do this conversation with you, because it's very heartening to see successful Indian companies. One final question on this conversation, at least, which is, to execute any of these things, do you have sufficient capacity, or do you need to do capex? And for that, if you need to do it, do you need to raise any capital, or are you sufficiently funded with internal accruals?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If you look at our resource base now, we built more than we need for the existing business. We have more human beings and technical resources than we need for the current business. Because in aerospace, if you wait for a contract, when you get it, you'll be late on that contract.
Sure.
Because the building takes much longer than a contractual. So we've actually built for the big funnel that's coming at us.
So both human capacity and manufacturing capacity is there to execute the large orders.
We are holding on to a bench of very skilled, trained people ready and waiting for the new orders.
Got it.
We don't even have to hire one person.
Got it.
We already hired them a year ago.
Well,
I had a very insightful investor of ours saying, "How did your human cost go up by 25% in the last 12 months?" I said, "Wait till you see the orders we're going to get." And let me tell you, this is just the beginning. We are working assiduously in a time when the world is actually looking for safe harbor, and India is a safe harbor, and we are one of the global best of the best suppliers. So I think we're in the right place, right time.
Well,
and we are ready.
Well, I can't ask you anything more. That's a confident management, and I look forward to interacting more with you, Udayant, as time goes by, quarter after quarter. You have your results in 2 days. It would be lovely to talk some numbers then. Thank you so much for taking the time out today, and congratulations on this deal.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure is ours. Pleasure is ours, and viewers, thanks for tuning in.
I wanted to wish all the viewers of BQ Prime and the channel a very happy festivities and a very happy Diwali. Happy investing.
I meant what I said on air. It'll be lovely to engage more.